You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Caitlin Clark. She has come out and she has made a statement. Returned to practice today. She will not be playing Sunday. And then next week, and we'll look at the schedule, is a back-to-back. One of those games against the Mercury. I've got to wonder if she will be back before July 12th. I got to looking at the schedule, and I was like, ugh. That would be 9 days from today. So let's start here. By the way, she gave exactly the statement I expected. All right, a very canned statement. She shot down online harassment and hate. I knew she would make this statement. There was no way with her having to play in this league with these players, there was no way she was not going to do the I'm condemning hate and online harassment, blah, blah, blah. She was always going to do that. All right? If anybody expected that she wouldn't, you were wrong. I fully expected it. Luckily, she did not go on an insane berserk rant, an unhinged rant like her coach did 2 days ago. So, let's listen. This is her talking about being out.
Feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously, difficult coming back in a back-to-back, so we'll have to be cautious of that, but I feel a lot better, and like I said, excited to get back into practice, and this week has been very helpful for my overall health. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, I know I kind of just ranted for a while, but feeling a lot better.
Okay. She said difficulty coming back in a back-to-back. She's missing this game against the Aces, and then there's a back-to-back. Wednesday on the 8th, the Mercury on the 9th. Well, I've got to think she's not going to play in that Mercury game. Maybe she will. I don't know. Maybe they bring her out and she plays Wednesday the 8th, sets out the 9th, and then is back to normal use, normal playing time starting on the 12th. So maybe she'll play that middle game. But I got a sneaking suspicion she's not coming back until the 12th. I hope I'm wrong. By the way, Caitlin Clark, WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Month for June. So for the month of June, she was the Player of the Month. 21.9 points, 45% from the field, 8.2 assists per game, 4 rebounds. Obviously, the 11th best guard in the league. This just goes to show you how little respect these players have for her in this league. So, let's watch this whole thing. This is from Caitlin Clark. Tony East, one of the beat reporters, put it out.
Let's probably start. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and obviously I haven't been available for like a week or so. So, first of all, I know what you guys are going to ask, and I did think it was a flagrant foul, and our reffing just needs to be better, and it's tough. Obviously, the refs are in a really difficult spot. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world, in my opinion, is to make calls. All you do is get yelled at the whole time by everybody. You're never winning. So I think for us, as the league's just got to do better protecting our players in that regard. I don't really think that it was up for debate. Obviously, it wasn't called in real time. You go back and watch the clip. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of been a discussion for like 3 years now, and I think we really need to do a better job protecting the people in this league. And, obviously I've been involved in a few of those plays, but there's been plenty others across the league that, haven't got called, go back in post game or whatever it is. Teams submit clips, nothing really changes. So I think overall the league just has to do better, and we have to invest in those areas. The technology can get better. We can treat the referees a little bit better, pay them like they're full-time employees. I think things like that. And I think a lot has obviously come after that, and as I've stood up here and said before, the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play, that goes for my teammates, that goes for my coaches. there should never be a question of character. Like, I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So, you know, none of that is okay, and I don't want anybody to ever experience that. And, you know, I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions, I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And, you know, I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot, and I think at times you know, I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it, but there are times that it is hard, and there are times that, you know, it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on, and, you know, I would never change any of that for the world, but I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So, you know, at the same time, it's really interesting to me because, you know, even I turned the TV on Sunday, and that game was on Wednesday, and that's all people are still talking about. And I feel like that's just a real disservice to our league. Like, it, and I get it. You talk about it. You talk about whether it's flagrant. You talk about whatever it is. But to continue to beat down, and then for the narrative to be taken other places that is really just that's just really not acceptable, I think is just, it's hard to see, you know, and it's a disservice to my team, but it's also a disservice to the other teams in this league and other players in this league. There's so much amazing talent, and there's so many amazing players that are playing at an incredibly high rate. And I remember, I think it was Sunday or Saturday, whatever day that was. I remember like watching them discuss it on TV, and I didn't know they were going to discuss it. I was just watching the other games because I try to watch as much as I can, and I honestly felt bad for the players that were playing in the games those days, and also I felt bad for my teammates. They played on Friday, and they dominated, and they played really well, and nobody wanted to talk about that. They were just worried about everything else. So, and there had been, you know, I think 10 plus other games that had already happened to that point. So, you know, I think it's all of our jobs to help refocus the narratives a lot of the times, and we can do better at that. And I think it'll help our game grow a lot more.
Look, you gotta say one thing. She's always thinking about everybody else but her. However, she did make it clear that was a foul. The league needs to do better. And of course, she tried to spin it towards the rest of the league too. But we knew this would happen. We knew that this would be the kind of statement she would give. She's always trying to, and here's the problem. She's such an unselfish person and player in what is a unbelievably selfish league, petty league and jealous league. And her personality could not be more opposite to her fellow players in the league, but she's going to take the high road. We all knew that, right?
And that goes for obviously the Fever and whatever, but at the same time, you know, you guys are here in this arena every time we play, and the amount of people that are passionate and love the game and respect the other team, and the young girls and the young boys that show up, like, we can't lose sight of that. And that's whether we're here at home and whether that's we're on the road. And, you know, there's a lot of really, really great people that, you know, love this league and love our organization. And, you know, I'm thankful to be here in an organization that has my back and will always stand up for me. And, you know, I think we can't ever lose sight of that. Like, the joy and the fire and the fun, like, that's why you play this game. And I think it kind of goes back to a little bit of my frustration. Like, I remember seeing a headline is like, and I don't remember who wrote this, and I try to stay away from social media as much as I can, but sometimes it can be hard. Like, I need to be aware of certain things, and obviously my team makes me aware of certain things. And it was like, the headline read like, this season has been everything but fun, and they're just full of frustration for Clark and the Fever. And I'm like, no one ever asked me that. Nobody ever asked me that. Like, that's wrong. Like, they're like, discuss my play. Discuss if I played bad. Discuss if I played good. Like, discuss our play. And at times I understand there's other things that need to be talked about.
She's always going to be our and them. It's never her, never me. This is where she needs an agent that will be an advocate for her. All right. And we'll come out and make the appropriate statements when things like release statements, you know, but I don't think she has the right representation. That's my opinion. She would probably disagree with that. You know, I'd hire a football agent, personally speaking.
Great, whatever. But let's continue to move on and, things like that. And but I think just focusing on the joy and the amazing parts of this game, like I said, I think it's sometimes a disservice to not only our team but to everybody else. And let's get back to a lot more smiling and positivity. I think our world could use a lot of that. And then moving on, I know everybody's going to ask about my health. I will be out Sunday, but I'm feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about.
Okay. And we're going to stop it right there because that's where the other clip was. But not surprising. Not surprising that she was going to come out and say, hey, there's no room for hate or harassment or whatever. She's always doing what these other players are not capable of. She's literally defending the ones that can't stand her. And I know that drives a lot of people crazy, but that's just her personality. And it's people like that that will grow the game, in theory, if she can physically hold up. I do think at some point, and maybe it will come with age, she's got to get angry at the appropriate people. All right? A lot of the fans out there talking, they've got her back. They're advocating for her, and her message doesn't necessarily match theirs. And I'm already seeing fans right now that's like, I wish she would come out and call out the people that don't like her. She's just not going to do that. At least not yet. I don't know. Maybe if she'd have played all last year, but this really and truly is kind of like she's into her second season. She's technically into her third season, but she only played 13 games last year. So, and she is the most popular women's athlete, and there's a lot of fire, a lot of fury, and a lot of passion behind that. She also makes a statement about clicks, and this is social media clicks and all that. Yeah, Caitlin, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It did for LeBron. That's what this is. Social media is a thing. People consume it, and they're gonna click. That's just all there is to it. So tell me what you think. I just want to see Caitlin Clark back on the court at this point. I don't know. I don't know when that's happening. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.